Hi guys, Robert Rivera here. Welcome to the weekly recap. I think this is weekly recap number 26, I think. And we had an amazing week, by the way. Things seem to be getting back to normal. We're going to go over the numbers here real quick. Trying to make this one quick and short, so let's go to it. All right, first one up is GJ. Remember, I had switched over to GJ to try to make it a little smoother because GU had been a little wild. Turn on the music a little bit. I'm trying to make this a little more entertaining, so I'll put a little music. Hopefully it's not too loud. Yeah, let's see. This is GJ. We have it trapped after. This is how Jay sees it, and it is so very good the way he has described it in the past, right? As price has been going up, 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 up. You see it going up, 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 up. Now it has entered into transition, right? It's no longer going up. It's creating higher lows, but not higher highs, okay? So we have transitioned from this trend into consolidation or accumulation. Now, it's a question of whether it's going to break to the top or it's going to break to the bottom. And this is, again, for the benefit of the new people. You know, those of you who have been here a while, you already know this. But again, this is for the benefit of the new folk. We do notice that price is above the 50 moving average. But again, if we look left, we know that this is already at a high area of supply. So it may not have continuation to the upside. And I really don't remember what it did. Let's see what it did. Okay, so in fact, yeah, that's what it did. It could not pass that, right? It made like it was going to go up. And this is where a lot of people got faked out, right? Initially, it came down like it was going to break to the downside. And it kind of broke to the downside a little bit. And then it jumped right back up like hard, only to drop, really go in the direction that it wanted to go anyway. If you are a breakout trader, you got like 22 pips or something like that in here, okay, if you're a breakout trader. If you are a retest trader, then you were never in trouble. And this is what I'm trying to tell everybody. You were never in trouble here nor here because it didn't break out, okay? If you're a breakout trader, you also got like 15, 20 pips or something up here, all right? But again, you got to be quick about it because that's not going to last forever. But as a retest trader, you're not in trouble. You're just waiting, okay? And then finally, you have a breakdown that breaks down below the trend line. Now, there was no retest on this one. There was no retest that you could have caught as a retest trader, but you could have caught perhaps the break here. This is the 60-minute. This is the 60-minute. So I'm sure that on the lower time frames, we have a break of the trend line and a retest, okay? So you could have caught that. That went for 78 pips from the trend line, 69 pips from the breakout. And I put so far, I don't know how much further it might have gone beyond that. Okay, let's move on because that was only the first one. Goodness gracious, spent so much time on that one. Okay, then I went back to GU. And I went back to GU because of that move from GJ. Okay, I did not like that move from GJ. That move, strong move up, and then the drop. I thought, okay, they're playing us now with GJ. Let's go see what we find on GU. So this is the same drop that we had from GJ, but now this is showing it on GU, and now we have that transition. And I do like this one. I like this setup. This is the kind of setup that it's easy to take, okay? Because this transition is really clean. As I mentioned in class, I did the zones. I did the breakout lines at the 30-minute. That's why you see the gap between the candle and the line, and both of the top and below. And then I did the wick on the 1 hour. I just felt that that would be safer for you guys. And I think it did work out very well. Let's see what we got following. So this is what we ended up with. And from what you see, and I broke this down so that you guys could see a little better what happened here. So again, it kept consolidating for a little while, and then it finally broke. It provided a nice little retest right there. And then when it dropped, it bounced right off of the S2. This is important as the pivots. And I'm going to recommend everybody to go ahead and use pivots once you have a breakout, if you don't have them already open, so that you can see the likely places where it is going to bounce from. And of course, then you also have the stochastic RSI, which I'm really liking, guys. I'm really liking how the stochastic RSI is working. If you have an area where it's likely to reverse and you have some overextension like that on the 1 hour, that's the time frame that I'm noticing. This is the 30-minute, but it looked even better on the 1 hour. It's a good entry, guys. I think it's a good entry. Again, here, an entry here would have been so easy, right? Because anything that closes below the S2, anything that closes below the S2 is an out for you. So the risk reward was huge. And sure enough, it bounced from there and it went all the way up 123 pips from up here. That doesn't even count from down here. 123 pips just from down here. So you got 65 pips going to the downside with zero drawdown because you had a nice retest there. And then you got another nice retest up here for 123 pips. That was nice. That made me believe in GU once again. Okay. Then the next day I sent out a gold, and this gold I put in the gold tab of the community because I did not want to send another official setup, but I did want to provide a look into gold, and I wanted to see how gold was acting because the spread has come back down to something manageable, something that we can do. Sometimes it's even like one the spread, so it's like, okay, let's check it out. Let's see how it's doing. And so this one was a nice one because we had the transition here and we had an outer trend line and an inner trend line. And anytime we have this situation, obviously, guys, we're looking for the break of the inner trend line to the outer trend line. But again, we're ready in case it breaks to the bottom also. So this is what we got after. Let's see let me see what it looks like. Sure enough, it broke to the top. All right, it broke to the top, retested. You could have taken my my hybrid retest right here and been a little even safer. I mean, not safer, but you're basically anticipating the upward move. The only problem with that is that the 200 right there, that's that blue line, the 200. So it might have been better just to wait for the break of the 200, which it did. And they went from the inner trend line to the outer trend line for 87 pips. That was nice. That was very nice. Okay. Following the next day, let's see, we got GU. GU again came back to GU because GU has been nice, playing nicely, and we have a wedge here that makes it easier for us to see, and we have zone. So I put the wedge so you guys could see, can get two references, right? You can catch the reference of the wedge breaking out or the zone breaking out, and perhaps it will provide you with a good visual of what is happening, okay? We see prices below the 50 moving average, but there is a gap, right, between those two. There's enough space for it to go to the downside, not a lot of space to go to the upside, because again, we're already at highs. But remember, it dropped, okay? It dropped from up here, and now it returned, you know, but when it came back up, it did not make a higher high, guys, okay? So it was a high here, right? Higher high, lower high. It dropped again, came back up, and when it came back up, it did not create a higher high, created a lower high. So perhaps that's giving us an indication that it may break to the downside. What did we end up with? And sure enough, it broke down to the downside. Making it real clear, by the way, broke. Well, I'm talking about the break line, not the what you call it, not the zone, right? The break line. Why do I have this here? Oh, okay. Because it broke. Okay, I get it. It did not break the zone. It broke the wedge, retested, and dropped. Okay, that would have been the play right there. 118 pips with 0 to 6 pip drawdown, depending on your entry. You know, depending on where you entered in here from that retest, you either got the I'm sorry, guys. You either got 6 pips drawdown or no pips drawdown, depending on where you entered in here. Okay, that was nice. And again, acting more like itself, GU. All right, next day. Next day, I sent another gold. I've been liking the way gold has been acting, and so we sent another one. Remember, this is the outer trend line that I showed you before. It broke the inner trend line that was in here, all right, came to the outer one, and now I'm using the outer one as a reference to if it breaks to the upside, it's got to break through there. If it comes back down, again, I get a reference both ways. I get the breakout zones and the trend line. Let's see what we got, okay? This is what we ended up with. It broke the trend line to the upside, and I forgot to write in here the pips, but I got them written down here. That was 41 pips. 41 pips and a nice retest right there, okay? Well, again, a retest of the trend line. It did not, I guess I should be clear about this. When we put a trend line on it, guys, it's for an early entry. Okay, so you could get the break and the retest on that trend line, or you may get no retest at all. It may just break the trend line and keep going. In this case, we got a breakout, we got a retest, and then jump up for 41 pips, zero drawdown on that also. Okay, let's see what else we got. The last trade of the week, GU, back to GU. I like my GU, right? And again, we have an inner trend line and we have an outer trend line, and we have consolidation happening after the drop. Again, beautiful, beautiful setup. I love the setup. And as if you notice, I wrote down, I have been leaving it out because some people were getting confused as to whether they could take a buy from the bottom or a sell from the top. Yes, you can. Okay, you just got to know what you are doing. And but I put it back because we do have a whole bunch of new people, and so I wanted them to get a reference as to what it is that you're looking for with these zones. You're looking for a break and a retest to take it down, or you're looking for a break and a retest to take it up, okay? But we do have the trend line there for an early entry in case it breaks above it. And price is right there at the bottom zone, which, by the way, it's at supply, right? It's at supply. So it's pretty easy buy from here if we were to take it. All right, what did we end up with? Sure enough, there it is. It bounced right from there, from that supply area, and it broke the inner trend line, went to the outer trend line with a break and a retest to go to the upside 40 pips before it crashed back down. And notice that when it crashed back down, it did not break that supply, that demand area. It made like it was going to. It went basically right down to it and came back up. All right. And now it stayed within the zone. If I remember correctly, it closed the day within the zone. So we're back in the zone again. Nice break again, break of the trend line. I did not count the pips from down here. I should have counted the pips from down here because that's the whole point of having the trend line. I just counted the pips from the zone. All right, since that's usually what I do every week. Okay, guys. So now what did we ended up with? We ended up with 541 total pips, 541 total pips, which equates to, and there were 7 trades during the week, and that comes out to 77 pips per trade, guys. 77 pips per trade. It was a nice week. Only one of those 7 trades was a no retest. All the other ones were retests. So that was good, 6 retests, and only 0 to 6 pip drawdown. So on the one that we had a drawdown, okay, on the retest, it was only a max of 6 pips. That's not bad, guys. And 541 pips. Well, if you deduct the other 178, so that comes to about 470 pips that retested. That's pretty good. Okay, let's go to the big picture for the week that's coming. Let's see. Let's start with GN. This is the projections for next week, okay? Start with GN. This is what we see on GN. Again, we've been watching this for quite a long time. This is the long view, right? This is the long view of GN. I had originally called the bounce from here to the 50 moving average. It rejected there and dropped, and it's not been able to get back up there. It keeps flailing. It keeps flailing at this spot right here. Let me go ahead and mark that. Okay, it keeps flailing right there. All right, that right there. Notice how price before couldn't go above it, then it went above it, then it stayed below it, couldn't go above it again. Okay, then it stayed above it. That's a major zone right there, guys. And price is right at it. It closed right at it. It broke above, and then it retested, came back down, retested, and closed above. So even though that is a red candle right there, it did break above it. However, these rejection candles from the top got me a little concerned that this may be coming back down. If we move to the daily, we see what's happening. It is at the 50 and it can't break it, right? It keeps pressing against it, can't break, keeps pressing against it, can't break it. But remember this, the longer price remains at a spot, the more likely it is that it is going to break, okay? So what's the play here? This is the daily. What's the play here? Let's see what it looks like on the 4-hour. Same issue, same thing. Below the 50 moving average. Obviously, the 50 moving average is the play, right? The play is a 50 moving average. As soon as it breaks above, if you get a 4-hour candle, that breaks above that 50 moving average, we're go time. As far as I'm concerned, we're go. And that go would mean about 300 pips to the upside if you're swing, okay? That's what I see, guys, on GN. And again, we've been tracking this for a long time, so it's not like we're new to GN. We watch this every week, all right? And I think it's at a critical spot right there. We can catch that at least to the 50, so maybe not 400 pips, but 350 pips or something like that to the upside. All right, that's GN. Let's go into, what is this? GBP USD. GBP USD is ranging. This is what I wanted to point out here. This is the weekly. It is stuck in this range. I mean, it comes out of it, it goes out of it, and comes back in, right? It goes out of it, goes back in. It goes out of it, goes back in. And you can see where it's stuck. And it's because of this trend line from basically 2014 that it hadn't broken. And now it keeps messing around it, right? And messing around it, trying to break out of its hold, right? It's kind of like pulling it down. So this is where it's at. It's above the 50 moving average, by the way, guys. It may be retesting here. I think it's going to be explosive when it breaks out of here. It may be explosive. And if you consider what's going on in the markets, in the economy, by the way, of the U.S., with the Federal Reserve increasing inflation, which lowers the value of the dollar, okay? And as the S&P keeps moving up and the Dow keeps moving up, that's correlated, by the way, with GBP. We're going to see an upswing. I think we're going to see the breaks of the high in the next couple of weeks, this week or the next week. Perhaps it's going to wait until election. Perhaps that's what's going on. It's going to wait till election. Let me see. Where's the 50 moving average? Price closed right at the 50 moving average. The 200 moving average. So that's going to be interesting. Let's see what the daily looks like. I'm sorry that I'm making this longer than usual, but I think it's important what's happening now, especially with the news, the fundamentals that are happening. So on the daily, it's below the 50 moving average. It's going to have to break that. It is going to have to break that in order to make that move to the upside. Let's see what's looking on the 4 hour. On the 4 hour, same thing. On the 4 hour, it is below. Let me move the pivots. It's below the 50. So, and the 200, okay? So that's what we need to look for. Any 4 hour candle that breaks above those right there will give us an entry, I think, to the upside. Okay, I am thinking bullish on GBP USD. Oh, well, on GBP pairs, but GBP USD, I'm thinking bullish for sure. Okay, I'm pretty confident as bullish. All right, we will see. Let's see what else we got. Okay, I made a fib on gold because it is obviously only shallow retracing. Okay, any move to the downside on gold right now is simply shallow retracing. That's all it is doing. And it rejected breaking the trend line. But if you look at the overall move, right, this is the 50% right here, the golden zone. It's at the 23.6. And I made that little box there because on the daily, we can see clearly. Let me go ahead and remove this now. Okay. On the daily, we see the box that is stuck in. Okay. It's stuck in here, stuck in here, stuck in here, poked out. Poked out of the line, but it came back into the box. All right, so it's at the box. It's below the 50 moving average also on the daily. Let's look at the 4 hour real quick. Let's see what that looks like. And on the 4 hour, it is below the 50 moving average also. So again, those are the kind of moves that we're looking for. We're looking for a break of the 4 hour, almost all of them that we've looked at so far. We're looking at a break of the 4 hour to catch something to the upside. This is where we need to be a little more patient. Again, if you are looking for a swing, if you're looking for something to break this high right here, and I'm anticipating that it will, guys. Again, the valuation of the dollar is going to make gold continue to be strong. And if you look again at the overall picture of it, it's not, it's got plenty of room to the downside, but where it's bounced from is shallow retracement, all right? So we're looking at a move to the upside, I think, on gold again. All right, and finally, let's see. Finally, somebody asked me for GCAT. Here's GCAT. GCAT is stuck, again, in this range for quite a long time. That's been since 2018. All right, it's below the trend line. It's below the 50 moving average on the weekly. What does it look like on the daily? Below, again, the powerful moving averages and stuck right there below it. On the 4 hour, same situation. Let me go ahead and remove those pivots. Why are the pivots open on all these? I don't know, but again, below that, it still looks like it has room to drop a little more. Okay, so it looks like all of our GBPs are in a situation where they need to break the 50 moving average on the higher time frames, on all the higher time frames. That's super important, guys. There is a gap in there that you could take, but why risk taking something pushing up when you know there's a wall right there, okay? Better to wait for the break to the upside. When the market opens tomorrow and I send the setups, I'll be looking at that bigger picture and try to see how we could best play it. Because perhaps what we need to do is wait for the spike up and then get and wait for that candle rejection at the top and then take those sales. That may be the better move for us as far as the short term, but long term, it should break the tops. Okay, GBP should break the tops of all those pairs that we talked about. I didn't even look at GA, but because again, Joe has GA and he does an analysis on GA. But GA is getting closer and closer and closer to our swing entry. So again, GBP is looking bullish. I think we're going to see bullish moves on it in the next couple of weeks. But again, it could turn into somewhat of a fight because of the election that's coming up. That's only like 17 days away or something like that. So there's going to be some choppiness, and we need to be aware of that. And an election day is going to be volatile. All right. So just giving you all a heads up. Again, this is Robert Rivera with the Trend Trading Academy. And I hope that you got value from this. And let me cut this short so we can go ahead and enjoy the rest of the day. We got playoffs today. Baseball!